you've jumped to the WWF in 1996. Within a few months of your WrestleMania 12 debut, the NWO arrives out of nowhere and changes wrestling forever. Were you paying attention to what was happening down in Atlanta when you became a Wildman? Yeah.
Because of my friendship, obviously, with Diamond Dallas Page, who just took off after I left WCW. I mean, he just skyrocketed. And so we were always, talking on phones and, stuff. And I'd rewatch the show when I could or see clips of it or whatever. And Dallas would be filling me in on all the stuff that's happening, and especially with the NWO and them trying to turn Dallas to NWO and then fooling them all and coming out on top and then eventually beating Macho Man and becoming world champion. Just an incredible journey, and having so much fun watching that because I still had friends over at WCW when I jumped ship to WWE.
And I know you're really good at not living with regrets. And that's one of the things I love always speaking with you, Mark, because you're really good at always just looking forward and not looking back. That being said, was there a little part of you in 1996 when obviously you're facing fake Diesel and fake Razor and, the Wildman character hasn't exactly skyrocketed like you'd hoped? Is there a little part of you thinking, wow, if I'd hung around in WCW, what potentially could have been now that the NWO is here?
It's hard to go back and think like that. But when I even try to, I think about, and we talked about this in my books, the success of my ex-wife at the time was overwhelming to see what was happening there. And that obviously that never would have happened if I would have stayed over at WCW. So I don't live with what if or what could have been or whatever. But, I don't know what would have happened if I would have stayed there, because the Johnny B. Bad character would have had to evolve. Whether it was maybe going to the NWO, maybe, being the bad man of the NWO. You had the bad guy and the bad man. That would have been pretty cool with the NWO. Who knows, But like I said, I have no regrets. And I'm glad that I got to do what I always set out to do, and that was to go to the dance, and that was WrestleMania. And being undefeated at WrestleMania, 1-0. So